Welcome to Amaka Intellectual Factory, where I host podcasts and many other interesting stuff. I bet many people have forgotten this story already because they are too high on soda and social media mediocre drama. It's already old news. Yet this news broke out this month on or about April 2nd, 2024. For the benefit of my viewers, Sade Robinson was a 19-year-old Black American girl that was unalived, cut into many pieces like a common animal, and her car set on fire by a 33-year-old white man, Maxwell Anderson, whom she was very excited about going on a date with. This is white male rage. White men's violence and unaliving of Black women is happening way more than reported. And this is primarily because of this interracial relationship, psychological operation, or social engineering targeted at Black women and girls, causing them to date and marry white and non-Black men more than they actually would. Now, the white woman's reality is the Black woman's reality. The first question that came to my mind was, did Sade Robinson overlook red flags that would have saved her life had she acted upon them? And if we are to be honest, the answer would be yes. Let me quickly add that when the police searched the house of this white man that unalived and cut this Black girl into pieces, they found he had a sex dungeon. This is so we are clear we are dealing with a pervert right here. I have to include that in my analysis. Sade Robinson reminds me of a Black American girl that used to work at a nice sandwich restaurant that I used to go to a lot a few years ago. This sandwich restaurant has franchises everywhere, especially in white neighborhoods. Obviously, I don't want to mention their name. On one fateful day, I was in a white neighborhood and decided to stop by this sandwich restaurant in this white neighborhood. I was immediately greeted by a gorgeous, beautiful, and enchanting dark-skinned Black girl with a lovely smile. I felt her greeting and smile in my stomach. It filled me up already and relaxed me. She was wiping down the table in the already spotlessly clean and well-maintained restaurant. Then she started small, pleasant talks with me. This is a white neighborhood, so I would assume she doesn't see that many Black people at work, or even at all if she lived in that area. She told me she was done and was going to make my sandwich right away. I remember really enjoying this sandwich so much more than when Hispanics, who are pretty much the new face of working class America, made the sandwich for me. For those who might be thinking she put something inside my sandwich, well, you are wrong because this restaurant, like pretty much all sandwich restaurants, make their sandwiches in front of you. Because of that, I would drive miles away from home, passing by 2 restaurants closer to me just so that she can make my sandwich for me. And every single time, it was more delicious than when other people made it for me. At this point, I knew the added ingredient was her warmth and welcoming sweetness that she gave to other guests as well, not just me. So now we are quite familiar with each other because I stop by 3-4 times a week. It didn't take too long before I observed her white and Hispanic co-workers were not too pleased with how cordial I was with this charming Black American girl. Then I observed something even more upsetting to me. Her behavior became very apologetic towards her white and Hispanic co-workers, as if she was doing something wrong by being so friendly with me. In no time, she started to be distant from me and outrightly stopped making my sandwich. It was this particular Denisovan-looking Hispanic girl that started making my sandwich, even when this black girl was around. By the time this Denisovan-looking Hispanic girl made my sandwich twice, even when this Black American girl was around, I knew it was time for me to stop going to this restaurant for my sandwich, and I stopped. You see, I discovered something about Black people worldwide. Africa, America, and all that jazz. It is this self-imposed amnesia. A problem does not cease to exist just because you pretend it doesn't exist. More so, when I moved to Los Angeles, I quickly discovered that non-Black people really do not like to see Black people get along with one another, especially Black women getting along with one another. So as a result, Black people who still seek to integrate with such types of people compromise themselves, and by so doing, they go from overlooking red flags to not even seeing them at all. I'm sorry it took me this long to make this point, that Sade Robinson most likely overlooked red flags. And I'm still not done. This interracial relationship thing between Black women and white men is being systematically engineered by people who do not have the interests of Black women at hand. I too was targeted for interracial relationship, but their agenda failed. Or as Nigerians would say, they entered one chance. In fact, I found it is one of the major reasons for the gang stalking I am dealing with in Los Angeles by mostly non-Black people and compromised Black people. Topic for another day. I keep saying this, and it's never gonna grow old. History and current affairs tell us a lot about white men. The nature of white men is different from that of Black men. Even among Black men, their nature differs based on their bloodlines. This is the truth in your face. No amount of lies can undo this fact. It didn't take me too long to understand that white men don't know the difference between a harmless, heated argument or disagreement and a threat. When that white man tells you he feels threatened, you better take it seriously, because most likely what follows his perceived threat is violence. This noted fact by me comes from personal experience and observation. Despite me knowing this, I still like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Even at work, it only had to happen once before I knew that I must avoid any argument or disagreement with a white male colleague of mine. And I promise you, we are working just fine. He only had to give me that attitude, turn red and almost blue in anger once, because I had a different suggestion from his, for me to know this is a man I must deal wisely with. It also doesn't help matters that he is somewhat bipolar. One thing certain is that you will never find me in a heated debate with this white male colleague ever again. It only had to happen once, and once was good enough for me. The only conversations we will ever have are short conversations where we agree. White people, white men especially, bear grudges. They don't forgive and they never forget. That thing is scary. When they conceive of a threat in their mind, no matter how unreasonable, they act upon it. A person that perceives the slightest deviation from their perception as a threat is an enemy you don't want to have. Black women and white men are not compatible. They are opposites of everything. Anyone with a sense of discernment who has observed this interracial relationship psyop targeted at black women to trick them into desiring white and other non-black men would attest to how it keeps failing. First, it was Tommy Sotomayor and his anti-black women rhetoric. It nudged some black women into the hands of white and other non-black men. Then it was Kevin Samuels and his war on black women especially. That too nudged more black women into the hands of white and non-black men. So much so that a creep like Cohen Nanink, a white man, would have a YouTube channel devoted to how he watched black women in fascination. A lot of the examples he gives should be enough to worry black women. But what do you know? While all these black men are trash-talking black women, you have this creepy white man talking about how much he loves black women. So what do you expect? But like previous psyops, this too failed. Then white men fashioned passport bros using black American men. But we all know that white men are the original passport bros with their historical and global sex tourism. That too failed. And we also keep seeing how the black female and white male coupling of this interracial relationship psyop fails. And that is because, like I said earlier, black women and white men are not compatible. Look at the Hindu mythology of Kali, the warrior goddess, and Shiva. Kali is portrayed as a black woman that kills Shiva, who is portrayed as a white man. We don't really know what happened between Sade Robinson and Maxwell Anderson, the white man that unalived her and dismembered her. We can only speculate and hope that the white man that unalived and cut her into pieces confesses. So here's my speculation. They most likely got into an argument, and that argument most likely evolved around sexual boundaries being crossed and/or clashing social beliefs about black and white people. The white man that unalived and dismembered Sade Robinson might have even raped her. Remember, a sex dungeon was discovered in his house. So we know we're dealing with a psychopathic pervert. Also, we are still finding pieces of her body here and there that to determine whether she was raped might be impossible for investigators at this time. We have seen many video clips about how sweet Sade Robinson was. We have also seen many clips of her many white friends talk about how amazing she was. If we want to be honest, those white friends are part of the reasons she overlooked many red flags. So what could Sade Robinson have done that was so egregious to make this white man, based on my speculation, pending his confession or evidence, do the following: rape her, unalive her, dismember her, and set her car on fire. This is pure white male rage. Take a minute to think about the sickness behind this level of barbaric, savage, demonic, wicked evil. From all the lovely things we are learning about Sade Robinson, I think it is very rational to say that there is nothing she could have done to make a reasonable person do to her what this white man did to her. Absolutely nothing. One thing people need to realize is that things just don't happen. There are many subtopics to this interracial relationship psychological operation or social engineering geared towards Black women and girls in order to push them into dating white and non-Black men. It is a very aggressive agenda. I'll leave further discussions on that for another video. I just wanted to touch on Sade Robinson, the possibility she neglected red flags, Black women, and white male rage. Still, I don't think I did it enough justice. This is clearly an ongoing topic that would be continued in future videos. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Until next time, take care of your lovely selves. And remember, life is beautiful and worth living.